Welcome to Exquisite. In this video, I will quickly show you how to read data from text files in Python. This is one of the first things someone should learn when writing programs in a particular language. This is because there is usually a need to do so. The Python function we will be using is named genfromtxt. It is used to fetch data from a text file into the Python environment. The genfromtxt function belongs to the numpy module, so before we will be able to use it, we must first import the numpy module. To import the numpy module, we type the first line of our program as import numpy as np. So that line will import numpy with the name np. Now, we can comfortably use the genfromtxt function. To do so, we type np.genfromtxt, as in line 2 of the program. And inside the bracket, we can provide some information, which are usually called arguments. The first argument is the file name. That is the name of the file from which we want to fetch the data. Now let's have a look at the sample file which we will be using for illustration. The file is named osgf001201201.std. It is stored in this folder named Program. To keep things easy, we will later save the program in this same folder. Now let's open the file to have a look at the data inside of it. That is how it looks. Note that we are only using this particular file for purpose of illustration. You can use your own data files in whatever different format they are. You only have to specify things as we will do in this video. Back to our sample data file. Data in this file has two columns. The first column contains the time in hours, running from 0 to 23, while the second column contains corresponding values of a parameter which we call tech, for short. Your data could be much bigger, and in so many columns. Similar procedure illustrated here should be followed. In case you want to practice with this particular data file, we have stored it alongside the final Python program, at the site displayed on the screen, and in the description section of this video on YouTube, from where you can download and practice with it. So let's get back to our Python code. Inside the bracket, we will put the name of the file. That is, osgf001201201.std. Note that the file name is usually put in quotes, because it is a string. The second argument is optional, it is called dtype, and tells the program what type of data is stored in the file. Here's an expanded list of data types that can be put in there. But for beginners, I recommend that you do not to bother much about this. Just use float if data on the file are numeric, just like in our sample file. And use str if they are strings, that is, if they contain characters which are not numeric. So, for this illustration, we put float, since data in our file is numeric. Note that commas are usually used to separate the arguments. So, when you type a comma inside that bracket, the program uses it to know that next to it is a different argument. The same thing goes for other arguments that may need to be included. There are other optional arguments which can be used. I will tell you about them in subsequent videos. But for now, our program is ready, and it will work well in the stage we have it now. So let's save it before we run it. For this first example, let's save it in the same location where we have the data file. That is, in the folder named Program. We go to File, then Save As. Make sure the folder is where we want to save it. That is, Program. Then we give it a name. I choose to use Pro1. You can use a name of your choice. In the Save As type filed, we select to save it as a Python file. And finally, we click Save, and the program is saved. Now, just before we run the program, we should assign a name to the data which will be fetched from the file. Let's call it A. You can use a name of your choice. So we say, A is equal to whatever we had on the second line. The reason to do this is that when the program fetches data from the file, it will name it A, and so whenever we want to refer to that data, we can simply refer to it as A. Finally, we run the program by clicking on that green button. When we do so, the program automatically fetches data from that file into the Python environment, and names the data as A. We can confirm that the data is correctly fetched by typing A on the console, and hitting the Enter key. Data in the file should be displayed as shown. The entire 24 rows of data is displayed. It is not completely visible because of the limited space we have here. We can scroll up the data using this button, so we can see the upper part of the data. If you get an error when you run your program, or if the information of data you receive is not the same as you have inside the data file, then it is usually one of the following problems. The likely problem is that you may have not entered the file name correctly, and exactly, as it is named. Check carefully. Capitalization, lower or upper cases, and spaces matter here. Or perhaps the program was not saved in the same folder as the data file. Then, also check the second line carefully to ensure that you have correctly entered the comma, the quotation signs, and the brackets. Congratulations, if you are successful. You have just written a Python program that automatically reads data from a text file. More lines can be subsequently added to the program to process or analyze the data as desired. In the next video, I will show you how to read data files that may not be in the same folder as the Python program, and data files which may contain headings that are not part of the main data. See you then. If you like our videos, don't forget to click on the subscribe link. It is completely free, and lets you know when we upload new videos. Plus, it's your little way of promoting our channel. Thank you.